If you haven't heard about Anchor, it's the easiest way to make a podcast. Let me explain. It's free. There's creation tools that allow you to record and edit your podcast right from your phone or computer. Anchor will distribute your podcast for you so it can be heard on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and many more. You can make money from your podcast with no minimum listenership. It's everything you need to make a podcast in one place. Just download the free Anchor app or go to anchor.fm to get started. That's Anchor, ANCHOR.FM. Let's go. Hello and welcome to the podcast. Today I just want to talk about some tips on how to stay away from the feminism mindset in this feminist society. Part of, being on this journey as women and embracing our true nature, our femininity, and embracing our role as women is to stay away from stumbling blocks that could cause us to have the feminist mindset. Now, feminism is basically advocacy of women's rights on the basis of equality of sexes. So it's basically that movement is about being equal to men. Naturally, we definitely are not equal to men. Definitely not. We weren't made to be equal to men at all. Men are actually over us in authority, and we basically, you can read about that story in the scriptures in the Bible, in the book of Genesis. If you never have, when we were created. So once we committed that sin, that is a commandment that God gave, that the man is over us in authority. And so just right there shows that we are not equal to the man. And so being in this world, feminism has really taken over. Definitely in the Western Hemisphere, being in the USA, and she's that spirit is definitely spreading its wickedness over to other countries. At first very slowly, but I see it's moving very quickly, just because of the times that we are in as well. Satan knows his time is short, and so he really loves when people embrace the wicked spirit that comes with the liberation movement and the feminist movement, because that's out of order of what the Most High God ordained for us as human beings. But anyways, just going to talk about some tips on how to stay separate from what the world's doing, staying separate from other women that don't understand how wicked the feminist movement is, the feminist ideas. A lot of us can't help it because we were born into these ideas that didn't realize it. And so it's a learning process when you want to get rid of the mindset of feminism and its ways. And so first, I would like to say it's important to really the best that you can. This is something that I try to do myself, that I have been trying to do myself for a while, is like not watching movies or shows that really encourage and are based on the message of the liberation movement and the feminist movement, and really encourage women to be masculine and free in themselves. There's really no freedom in being a feminist. The freedom that women think they have is really just Satan's deception. He has women thinking they're free when they liberate themselves and try to be like a man. They think they could do everything like a man and be in rulership over men. That's part of his deception. And so that's not freedom at all. When we stay in order, that's true freedom, um, because that's the way the creator, designed it. And so there's so many blessings that come along with it when we embrace our femininity as women and not fall into the trap of the feminist ways and feminist movement of the world that's pushed and occurred. So I would say, just trying to stay away from watching anything that encourages women to be liberated and push women to be masculine. It's hard because it is everywhere, but there are some movies and shows where it's definitely just out in the forefront and it's so obvious. And so those ones you basically want to stay away from because you don't want that energy. You just start getting that energy on you and you thinking that those messages just get into your subconscious and you think it's okay. And it's really not when you are seriously trying to move away from that and be separate from, what society pushes, with the reverse and gender roles. If you really want to stay away from that, you definitely want to be careful what you watch. Um, what you watch, so that's very important. And if you have children, what they watch as well, what our daughters are taking in, and nieces, whoever. So just be mindful of that. Another tip is to not listen to mainstream, especially female rappers and singers that promote the feminist movement. A lot of these female rappers that are mainstream, that are so popular, if you really listen to the lyrics, it is encouraging women to be liberated, to be a part of the feminist mindset, and to go against their man and be rebellious and have the spirit of Jezebel. And so that's not something that, as a woman, if you're trying to stay in your femininity and learn more about your role, that's not something that you want to take in. I mean, those spirits are really strong on the music, and we shouldn't look at those women as examples. We shouldn't allow our girls to look at them as examples because they're not, and they're just being used by the industry. They're just puppets, whether they really believe what they're rapping about or not. A lot of them, may have sold their soul, and they are just doing what the higher ups are telling them to do to promote. And behind the scenes, some of them may not even really truly believe that. Especially when you see some women that do sing or rap are actually married and have children and families, but they're telling women to stay single, be liberated, be free, don't listen to a man, take his money, be rebellious and all that. you know something is not right, that they are definitely being used and they're just puppets. So it's best to not listen to this stuff. You don't want to take that energy into your homes, those demons into your homes, into your subconscious, into your children's subconscious, when we are trying to get back in order and be in our feminine self. So yes, so that's and that's what I do. I was like, for a while, I had certain favorite female rappers that I like, because I get caught up with the beat of music. Me personally, like if I like a beat of a song, I like the song on the basis of that. But it's like really listening to the words, it's kind of like, dang, I really should be listening to this. And eventually that conviction got to me, and I did stop. I had to stay away from that because it wasn't helping me and what I was trying to strive for. So if that's something that's a stumbling block that's in the way, you definitely want to get rid of that. You don't want any of that getting in your mind or your children's mind. Another thing, books, like be careful of the books you read. any books that are encouraging women to be masculine, to be out of order, that's not good. More focus, go for the books that are about women, that talk about submission, that are about women being feminine. You want to, read things like that. They're going to encourage you to encourage you in your feminine journey. Really embracing that natural part of you, and really help you grow. So you want to be mindful of the books that you read as well. And then it's good to look at examples. If you have good examples in your personal life of women that that really exhibit the good feminine characters, like meek and humbleness, and helping others, and compassion. Like, the character is really important. It's not just about the outside, but just how they behave and the character. Like, if you have that as an example and you notice that, it's okay to take note and want to strive to be that yourself. And also, if you're into the Bible, if you're into the scriptures, you can read like the Proverbs 31 chapter, which is about the Proverbs 31 woman, the characteristics of a Proverbs 31 woman, which she is feminine. Also, a book called 2 Peter. It's chapter 3, just an example of how a woman staying in her femininity should be. There's a book called Titus chapter 2. It starts in verse 3. Talks about how older women should carry themselves. This goes on for the rest of our life. Staying in our femininity and staying in our role and staying away from the feminism and liberation mindset of society. Also, like the beginning, the book of Genesis chapter 3, verse 16, once again, the man's in rulership over us. So that's definitely stated in that particular verse. So those can be examples as well in the scripture. And that's something that I myself look into as well. Also, another tip, it may be hard sometimes or whatever, but we really have to separate ourselves from a lot of modern women of today. Don't hang around them if they don't understand, like, really tapping into our femininity and strive to be women that stay in our role as women. If they don't understand that, it's just not good to hang around them. They could be a bad influence, and you don't really want that. So if you know people, women that are bad influences, that don't understand, that are against women staying in their femininity, that encourage liberation, being free from men, and encourage women to be in authority over men, and encourage being strong and independent, and just all that type of talk. You don't really need them in your life like that, honestly, no matter who it is. And like I said, that could be hard to make that separation depending on who it is, but at the same time, you have to think about what your journey through this, and what's important. And if they're a stumbling block, then they have to be removed, or love, just love from a distance, and you have to cut the conversation short if they go on and on about, women being strong, independent, and putting you down for wanting to be a submissive woman, or, wanting to go against the society norms of feminism. You don't need that negative energy in your life. You want to surround yourself with positive energy. So if a woman doesn't understand, women that you're around don't understand that, you are going to want to separate yourself, because those thoughts, the way that they talk, the way they think, will continue to get in your head, and it'd be hard for you to continue on the journey of embracing your femininity when you have these women saying those negative things to you as you're trying to grow and be a better woman. Also, it is good, if you're able to watch, like, for example, YouTube, and look up videos about how to be a traditional woman, how to be a traditional wife. There's a lot of content on that. It's something that you have to seek and want, okay? That's another thing, with anything else in life, this information is out here. It may seem like it's not, because so much of the negative is pushed to the forefront, but if you really want to work, be a better woman and work on yourself, you could actually look up this information, how to be a traditional wife, how to be a feminine woman. You could look this up. It really just judges the information you're getting. If it's good, take it in, leave the bad. Just really, it could really help you to work on yourself. But you have to want to seek, and you shall find. And that's the thing, I noticed, like, I've heard, people say, like, women aren't talking about this. Women are, yes, actually there are. There's books, there's videos. It's just that women have to want this. They have to want to change. They have to want to not have the modern woman mentality. They have to want to learn how to be feminine and be in their place and be in their role. If they don't want that, they're not going to seek it out. They're not going to hear the women that are speaking about it. So if you really truly want that, you're going to seek it out. You're going to get, if you have access to the computer, you're going to get on Google and start Googling stuff. You're going to get on YouTube or start looking up stuff. You're going to go to the library and try to look up books on it and read about it. You're going to pray. You're going to seek it. You're going to pick up the Bible and seek it. You're going to do something. You're going to seek, and it will be given to you, when your heart is right and you want that information. But if you don't want the information, it's not going to be there. And that's, a lot of women don't want this information. But if you're one of those women, young ladies that do, don't be afraid to seek it out, and don't care what others think. Don't care what other women think. Throughout life, I notice a lot of women give bad advice, especially nowadays. Older women, it don't matter. Horrible advice. And we have to stop doing that. We're not supposed to do that. So who cares what other women are saying, whether they're your relatives, so-called friends, co-workers, whoever. You do what you have to do to be a better woman for yourself. And I'm telling you, you'll feel better about doing that, to block all that negative energy away from your life. I'm just gonna be honest. Most of these women do not want to do better in that. They don't care about being in their feminine role. They don't want to understand it. And like I said, most of us, especially Western society, we just came in this world and that's what it was. But once we've been given the knowledge, or it's been shown like the way that we've been taught is wrong, then we have a choice to correct it. And we all have a choice. So it's up to us as individuals to decide, what choice are we going to make as women? And so, that's pretty basically it for tips that I have. Not every Most women aren't going to be with this way of life and embracing femininity, and that's okay. But you just have to learn that a lot of times you are going to be alone and doing something good in this world, because that's just the way it is. And just be at peace with that. But know in the end, you can win when you are doing good, when you are doing the right thing. So with that, I just want to end this podcast. Thank you, everyone that is tuning in, that is listening. And hopefully soon there will be another podcast for you.